This is question 11 on the higher calculator paper. Okay, so I'm going to work through this systematically. There are three parts, A, B, and C, and let's look at each in turn. Part A says to expand and simplify, and it's worth 2 marks, as you can see here. Expand and simplify, so there are 2 things it wants me to do, and I reckon I'm going to get a mark for each. So the first thing, the question, I'm just going to rewrite it so you could see it a bit larger. 3 bracket x plus 4 plus 2 bracket 5x minus 1. Okay, so if I multiply out the first bracket by 3, everything inside the brackets I'm going to times by 3. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, plus, and I'm going to multiply everything in the second bracket by 2. 2 times 5 is 10, so that's 10x. And 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so that's everything in the second brackets times by the number 2. And remember, that's positive 2, so everything in there is being times by positive 2. It doesn't make any difference to the signs inside. If it was negative 2, then you need to think about that a lot more. I've just expanded, so I've got 1 mark for this. I now need to simplify, and that means to bring together all the x's, bring together all the numbers. So I've got 3x and 10x, that's 13x altogether, and I've got positive 12 and negative 2, and that's going to be positive 10. So that's 12 take away 2 is 10. And in my answer space, that's what I'm going to write. 13x plus 10. Okay, pretty straightforward that question is. And you should be able to get full marks in that. Full marks, definitely. Part B. Part B says a similar thing. Expand and simplify. And in this case, there are 2 pairs of brackets being times together. And this is one that you should be quite familiar with. There are many techniques you could use. You could use the box method. You could use the sort of smiley face method, or using the arrows. And actually, that's what I am going to do. I'm going to rewrite the question just so that you could see it clearer. So 2x plus 1 and x minus 4. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do 2x times x. 2x times x is going to give me 2x squared. I'm then going to do 2x times minus 4. Now, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times minus 4 is minus 8. So that means 2x times minus 4 is going to be minus 8x. Right, think about what I just said and how I did it. Make sure you're okay with that. You should be able to get that next bit. Alright, so the next part I'm going to times by positive 1. So positive 1 times x is going to be positive 1x. Yeah, I could have just written x there, right? But I put 1x. Doesn't make much of a difference there. And then going from 1 to minus 4. So positive 1 times minus 4. Well, 1 times 4 is 4. And a plus times a minus, because the signs are different, it's going to be negative. So a plus times a minus, the answer is negative. So what I've just done is I've done the expanding bit, and now I need to simplify. And there are 3 different types of terms here. There's x squared terms, there's x terms, and there's a number term. So there's only 2x squared minus 8x plus 1x. That's going to be minus 7x altogether. Make sure you're careful with that, think about it. And there's only one number on its own, minus 4. So that's going to stay put. And that's my final answer. 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. Alright, going on to part C. Okay, in part C, the question says, factorize completely. So completely factorize this expression. 6y squared minus 9xy. So I'm going to rewrite that again. 6y squared minus 9xy. Now, if you see me do these previously, I break up these questions, especially where it has y squared, and you need to factorize. So I'm going to break up that y squared. So I write y. So y times y is y squared. And on this side I have 9xy. Now factorize means to put it into brackets. Yep, so we've got 2 terms here, and we could factorize, we could put into brackets by taking out what's common to both of them. And we need to look at both the numbers and the letters. So looking at the numbers, 6 and 9, I need to think about a number that can go into 6 and 9. And I think that should be pretty straightforward. Should know that 3 goes into 6 and 3 goes into 9. And that's the biggest number that could go into both of them. Looking at the letters, what letter is common to both these? So YY, and I've got XY. See that Y is common to both of them. Right, so I need to think about how I go forward. What do I times 3y by to get 6y squared? Well, 3 times 2 gives me 6, and y times y is going to give me y squared. So 3y times 2y is 6y squared. There's a minus there. And now I need to think about this side here. 3 times what is going to give me 9? 3 times 3 is 9. And y times what will give me xy? Y times x is going to give me xy. So you can see I've broken up the question into bits. And now I'm going to just check it. 3y times 2y. 3 2 is 6. Y times y is y squared. And 3y times 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Y times x, or x times y, is xy. So that is my result, 3y brackets 2y minus 3x. And that is my answer to part C. This is a pretty long question, right? It's worth 6 marks altogether, and there's some challenges in it. But it's a fairly common question. Make sure you know how to do it. If you do get one like it, make sure you can get full marks in it.